What's up, everybody? It's Canada, the engineer here. And yes, the last name is Canada. And today we're going to be talking about something extremely important. After you have actually decided that, look, I want to become rich, you become aware that you have negative thoughts in your mind about money. You made the decision that you want to become rich and you're getting ready to take action. This video is going to be the first action step that you actually need to take. All right. And that is, you have to determine how much income are you bringing in and what is affected by that income. So just to give you all an example, I'm going to share what my income is. This is not to brag or anything like that. I just thought that it would be more realistic and it will also be more informative if I actually share with you what my situation currently is. That way you can see what yours is. So before we do that, currently I am working a job. All right. I am working a job. And at my job right now, currently I am at $101,000 a year. All right. So because I'm at $101,000 a year, that actually puts me in, I believe it is the 24% tax bracket. That means that at my job, I'm not actually really earning $101,000 a year. And for many people, that's going to be a big shocker, and we're going to get more into it. So for my income, this is what it says. So if with me actually earning on paper $101,000 per year, and I'm looking at my laptop because I have all this written down in a spreadsheet, and that is going to be my income. And this is actually my gross income. And that is going to be, on average, every paycheck or every month, I am earning $7,769.82. All right. Now, because I have taxes coming out, you have taxes coming out of your check too. And that's why you need to know what tax bracket you're in. My net income, which is actually what I'm bringing home, that's what your net income is actually $5,436.62. So every single month, I actually have about $2,300.20 coming out of my paycheck. Now, also thinking about this, I actually have, what does this actually include? Because you have to start thinking about, what does that include? Why is this so much being taken out? Well, of this 2320, what's actually coming out of this is, one, taxes. Every single paycheck, I have $858.62 of taxes coming out. I also have the benefits. So this is basically like my health insurance. I have $65.12 coming out every single paycheck. And then I have my retirement planning. My retirement planning, I have $116 every paycheck and 55 cents coming out. And then there's other, and that is $126.25. All right. So when it comes to you actually tracking your money, this is going to be what this is going to look like. And I'm not sure how everybody's work, but I was actually able to go look at my pay stub, and I was able to get this information from my pay stub. So once I went and got that, I'm like, okay, I'm paying taxes, got benefits, retirement, other. Okay, that's the difference. Now, Once you actually go and you see what your gross income is, you see what your net income is. So off the rip, I'm already losing this amount of money every single month. So now the next thing is, and like I said, instead of earning $100,000 per year, if you take this every month and multiply it, that should end up being like around 70 something thousand dollars, $76,000 a year. So the first thing is you have to see how much money are you really bringing home, because as you can see, taxes is going to take a lot of your money. Taxes, benefits, retirement, and other things. This is almost $1,000 being taken out of my check every time I get paid. And then of course with the benefits and everything else, and then that's how you end up getting that. Now, once you have your net income, you have your gross income, you see how much you're making. The next thing that you have to look at, which is where the rich start to focus, is this word right here. What are your needs? All right, needs. Now, for everyone that's watching this video, I want to go ahead and give you the disclaimer. Everybody's needs are going to be different. People can say, oh, you only need this or you only need that. Whatever it is that you need to have in your life to be comfortable, that is exactly what you need. Now, that's not to say that you can go out here and have 5 different subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu, BET Plus, Disney Plus, and all of those. I would highly suggest that you have 1, maybe even 2 of those, and that may be fine. Maybe that's a need for you. Maybe that's how you're able to decompress and different things like that. So that might be a need for you. It's not a need for me, but it might be a need for you. So, but when it comes to your monthly needs, what you have to start thinking about is your rent payment. All right. You have to start thinking about your rent. Now, these are my needs. These are the things that I have to be able to live. So the first one is my rent. Well, what is my rent currently right now? Well, my rent is $1,792.68. All right. Now my electric bill is also $110. When it comes to food, I spend about $300 a month on food. Then when it comes to toiletries and personal care, I spend about $100. That means getting my hair cut, buying tissue, toilet paper. I don't necessarily buy it every single month, but I'll buy it in bulk sometimes. The main thing is getting my hair cut. So then I have my car insurance. That is $105. Then my gas for gas over here in Arizona, paying about $60 to fill up. So that's twice a month. And then my cell phone bill is $135. Now, when I add all this up, this ends up giving me $2,527.66. This is what it costs for me to live. All right. You see, this is pretty low. Now, as we remember, my net that I actually bring home, which I'll switch markers and I'll write this up here. So my net income was $5,436.62. All right. So this is what Matthew needs to live. It's going to be different for everybody else. All right. But these are the main things that I know that I need. And maybe you could utilize some of these as well. For me, I know my water is also included in my rent. So that's why I don't have water up here. Some of you, it may not be included in your rent, but these are some of the things that you start thinking about when you are renting. Is the water included? Is electric included? How much is the electric going to be? You know, food, personal care, gas going to fluctuate depending on where you're at. So this is basically what it costs for me to live. Now, we need to move on to the next step. What is the next step? Past payments. So what are past payments? Past payments are credit cards, student loans, different things like that. So for me, I do have credit cards. Then I have student loans. And then I also have the internet that I pay every single month. I actually probably should have included that in my needs, but I'll just put that right here. All right. So my internet bill, $80 per month. My student loans be getting me, but I have $180 a month, and then for my credit card payments, $353.46 per month. So when I go and I add this up, because I already have it added up on the computer, but that's basically what you're going to have there, your past payments. So any type of past payments, anything that you bought on credit or anything like that, you want to put that on there. So now the next step of what you want to do is you have other expenses. So you have other. Now for me, my other expenses are, I have a program that's called Legal Shield, which basically allows for me to have one of the top rating lawyers on standby. I have Apple, because I'm paying for cloud storage. Then I have storage. Then I have a term life insurance policy, and the reason why I got that is because in case anything happens and I'm not able to work, guess what? Them bills do not stop coming. And by having this policy in place with living benefits, it allows for me to potentially be able to get the money as long as I end up having a critical, chronic, or terminal illness or injury that causes me to be out of work for 3 months or more. So then I can end up getting that. But then I also have, and I honestly actually call this, it's a IUL, but this one is for retirement. So basically, I'm not gonna just say retirement, but basically this allows for me to be my own bank. This allows for me to be my own bank. Basically, I get paid. I take some of the money that I've already gotten paid and paid taxes on, put it into this vehicle, and it allows me to become my own bank because I can borrow against it. And it's like my money continues to grow like I never borrowed against it. And then I'm able to pay it back at a lower interest rate. So the reason why I got this one is because eventually I do plan on buying a house. And what I wanted to be able to do is, instead of having to have the bank add more money to the mortgage, I can actually go and just have the down payment already saved. So for that, I actually put $250 a month into. This one is $68.20. Apple storage is $33. I also think I may have Apple Music and stuff in there too with this. But then my Legal Shield is $64.85. So once I end up having that, also I have business. I have business stuff. This is part of my other. So I have a virtual office that I'm paying for, and I also have a software that I'm paying for that allows for me to be able to automate my business and put stuff on social media. And basically I got that so I could, because I was learning skills, and I was like, hey, I'll keep this and just keep learning more. So with that, ends up being $159.59. Now, once I get all of that added up, this is going to end up being $575.64. And then we're going to take this number and we're going to put it over here. So this is other expenses. All right. So now that we have these other expenses, what is this total that I have for payments every single month? Well, the total that I actually have is, I have $3,716 and 76 cents. All right. So what I actually want to do is I want to take this number right here and I want to subtract it from this. So basically what we end up having, and I'll write this out. So, and I'll just keep this marker. So this is total expenses. So what we end up having is we end up having expenses minus, or net income minus expenses. So now I take this number, which is the 54362, and then I subtract 37, 16, 76. And how much money do I actually have left over every single month, or at least for this month, is $1,719.84. So for one, that's not very bad. However, my goal is, how can I actually get this down? How can I get this number down to maybe even $3,500? How can I save a couple $100? The things that I do have, I believe that they're very valuable. My life insurance policies, I have my both of those, and then I have, you know, storage, different things like that. I'm creating content on my phone, so I need storage. So I believe that that's not bad, and that allows for me to have this much money left over, $1,719.84. Now the question is, what is it that I do with this money? Well, that's a very good question. And we will actually talk more about that in the next video. However, I will tell you that what the rich actually do is the rich go and utilize this type of money and they invest in assets.